The Dodgers have just made the biggest move of the trade deadline season. Manager Dave Roberts has officially confirmed the signing of yet another Japanese star, completing what analysts are already calling the most explosive roster shakeup of the year. At the same time, the trade that sent Kim Hye-sung and Rushing to the Boston Red Sox has ignited fierce debate in Korean media. And on top of all that, Roberts has finally broken his silence on Shohei Ohtani's recovery timeline. There is a lot to unpack here, so let's get into it. Let's start with the big announcement. Roberts confirmed the signing of another Japanese player, which the media is already calling the arrival of yet another samurai in Los Angeles. What does this mean for the Dodgers roster construction, and why is this such a significant move? First of all, the Dodgers are not simply adding talent, they are building an identity. When you look at what this front office has done with Japanese players, you see a very deliberate strategy. These are not random acquisitions. The Dodgers are recruiting players who share a specific mentality, disciplined preparation, elite adaptability, and an ability to perform under enormous pressure. When Roberts formally announces a signing like this, it signals that the organization has done its homework thoroughly. This is not a last-minute patch. This is a calculated addition designed to strengthen the roster's culture as much as its lineup. The ripple effect across the clubhouse will be significant, because players who carry that samurai mentality tend to raise the standard around them without even trying. From a competitive standpoint, what does adding another Japanese star actually do for the Dodgers in practical terms? Is this about filling a specific role, or is there something bigger happening here? Both, honestly. On the surface level, yes, there is a positional need being addressed. But if you look deeper, what the Dodgers are doing is creating an environment where elite Japanese players can thrive together. There is a language component, a cultural comfort component, and a performance component that all intersect. When Otani arrived, the front office understood that the support structure around him mattered as much as his individual talent. Now they are doubling down on that philosophy. The new addition is not just a player, he is another anchor in a system the Dodgers have built with great intentionality. And for opponents, this creates a genuine problem. You can game plan for one elite player. You cannot game plan for a roster that keeps introducing new levels of complexity. Now let's talk about the trade that is generating real controversy. Kim Haisung and Rushing have been sent to the Boston Red Sox, and the reaction in Korean media has been intense. From a pure baseball analysis perspective, how do you evaluate this trade? This is a trade that makes complete sense for the Dodgers' short-term ambitions, but it is genuinely painful for fans who had invested emotionally in Kim Haisung. And that emotional reaction is completely legitimate. He is a beloved player, a symbol of Korean excellence in Major League Baseball. When a player of that cultural significance gets moved, it is not just a roster transaction, it is a statement about priorities. The Dodgers are essentially saying that their current window is so important that they are willing to absorb the criticism and move forward. From a cold analytical standpoint, what they are getting back in return and what they are freeing up in terms of roster flexibility suggests this was a calculated decision. But that does not make it easy to watch if you are a Korean baseball fan. The Korean media reaction seems to be more than just sadness, there is genuine anger. What do you think is fueling that intensity? The anger comes from a sense of betrayal that goes beyond baseball. Kim Haisung was not just a good player on the Dodgers, he was a representation for millions of fans who followed him from the KBO to the major leagues. When the Dodgers trade him away, especially to a team like the Red Sox, it feels like that representation is being discarded. Korean media tends to cover their MLB players with enormous personal investment, almost like national athletes rather than just sports figures. So when something like this happens, the reaction is proportionally intense. What the Dodgers need to understand, and frankly, what they probably do understand, is that this decision carries cultural consequences beyond the baseball field. How they handle the messaging around it will matter. From a Red Sox perspective, though, does this trade make them genuinely dangerous? What does acquiring Kim Hye-sung and Rushing do for Boston? Boston just got significantly more interesting. Kim Haisung brings elite defensive capabilities and a level of plate discipline that is genuinely difficult to find in the market. He is the type of player who changes the bottom of your lineup without you fully realizing it until you look at the numbers 3 weeks later. Rushing provides depth and positional flexibility that any contending team needs in the second half of the season. The Red Sox were clearly looking for ways to close the gap in the American League, and adding 2 legitimate contributors in one move is the kind of aggressive maneuvering that could flip their season. I would not be surprised if, come October, people look back at this trade and credit it as the moment the Red Sox got serious. And now to the story that every single Dodgers fan has been anxiously waiting for. Dave Roberts has formally addressed Shohei Ohtani's recovery timeline. What exactly did he say, and what should fans take away from that announcement? Roberts was carefully measured in his words, as you would expect when the subject is the most important player in baseball. He gave a general timeframe without committing to a specific return date, which tells you that the medical staff is being cautious and that the Dodgers are not going to rush him back regardless of external pressure. And there will be external pressure. When you are Shohei Ohtani and you are recovering, every day you are away from the field feels like a loss for the franchise. But the Dodgers have been very clear internally that they will prioritize his long-term health over short-term availability. Roberts' announcement was essentially sending a message to the fanbase. We have a plan, we are monitoring this carefully, and we will bring him back when he is truly ready. From a baseball perspective, how does the team manage without Ohtani while still maintaining their identity as a championship contender? This is actually where the depth of the Dodgers roster becomes critically important. They have built this organization so that it does not collapse the moment one player, even the best player in baseball, steps away. The starting rotation still has quality arms. The lineup still has run-producing threats throughout. What changes without Ohtani is the psychological weight he carries into every opponent's game plan. When you face the Dodgers with Ohtani on the mound or in the lineup, your entire preparation revolves around him. Without him, opponents can distribute their focus differently. That is a real competitive disadvantage. But the Dodgers have enough talent to weather this period if they execute consistently in the fundamentals. What does Ohtani's recovery mean for the Cy Young race we discussed earlier? Does his absence hurt his award candidacy? It depends entirely on the timeline. If his recovery keeps him out for an extended stretch, the accumulated innings argument weakens significantly. Cy Young voters care deeply about workload, the idea that a pitcher has carried his team across a full season. But here is the thing about Ohtani that separates him from every other candidate. The numbers he posted before any setback are historically unprecedented. An ERA in the low ones, combined with elite offensive production, means voters cannot simply dismiss him because of missed starts. If he returns and pitches even adequately down the stretch, the cumulative case for Ohtani remains stronger than what any rival can build over a full, uninterrupted season. The award recognizes dominance. And nobody in this sport has been more dominant when healthy. Final thought: with the new signing confirmed, the Kim trade completed, and Ohtani's recovery timeline now public, where do the Dodgers stand heading into the second half of the season? They stand exactly where they designed themselves to stand, as the most complicated team in baseball to prepare for. Every move this front office makes is layered. The new Japanese signing adds another dimension opponents cannot easily scout. The trade sends a message that this organization will make hard decisions without blinking. And the careful handling of Ohtani's recovery shows a long-term discipline that most franchises simply do not have. Right now, the Dodgers are not just the best team in baseball on paper. They are the team that keeps making themselves harder to beat, week after week, move after move. The second half of this season is going to be extraordinary to watch.